it's not to say that one player is just like
Do we
so.
really?
I do think so. I think if you add Eze into it and you have Odegaard,
All
Ethan,
right, let's
Eze,
focus on the pure center
Rice,
mids first.
the pure center mids,
Like,
like,
so the Rices, the Marinos, the Norgards, the Zubamendis, people that are likely to partner in that pivot.
well, to not so I kind of get what you're saying. I still think that like I'm thinking about the bigger group, but yeah, maybe it's not as good as like, maybe some of the other teams, but it's definitely not as bad as it looks now. I think it could be better. I think you could add maybe one or two, but I don't know. I feel like you just have to find the right combination. And we have other combinations that we can use, but he doesn't use them. Like Zubamendi plus 2 10s or Rice plus 2 10s or Odegaard plus Eze
The
or,
Wanyeris,
something
the
like that.
Ezes, the guys,
Yeah.
the guys you were talking about. That's why I said like
Yeah.
let's section them.
Yeah. Add those together and see if we can get a different result, especially against more like some of the worst teams. We could do that more and be a little bit more adventurous because I think it's tough to watch us play
Like
against.
what he did against Port Vale, really. Like,
Yeah, well, against Port Vale, it just felt like I don't know, it's just weird. I don't know. But yeah, we're really good defensively, I get that, but there's just I feel like if you gave this team to another manager, you would see different combinations, different players playing in different positions because there are choices, but Arteta's choices are definitely more focused on the result being better defensively, not losing, keeping the game tight, and maybe nicking it rather than dominance. And I think his version of dominance is possession and territory rather
what are
than
you gonna do with it?
shots on target, creating chaos in the oppositions, because he thinks we're dominating because we have all the territory, we have all the possession, but is it really dominating if you're not actually scoring goals? I
And
guess
better than that, like you just said there, if you like, you could dominate as much as you want. I've seen this
yeah.
under Arsene Wenger, but are you winning games? Because there is an element of we're a decent team now. It's about results. That's my frustration. Like, because we keep talking about the same things. I'm sure if
Yeah.
me and you went and look all the streams we've done on my platform and your platform, I guarantee you we've been saying this same thing week in, week out. And it's one thing, cool. I'm not expecting it to change during preseason, but I've seen it in the last 2 years. Apart from the Bilbao game, I didn't see anything that I want to see. Obviously, during the season, I can make some excuses, but like you're making your own problems, bro. Like
Oh, yeah.
even I think fans are at that stage, even if it goes left, we just want to see you try something different. As you said
Yeah.
there, or as someone commented, you could play Rice as the single pivot or in midfield by himself like an anchor man. You could have the Ezes, the Wanyeris, the Odegaards, whatever have you. You need to find other solutions because teams have kind of sussed this out. They know if they're quote unquote decent defensively, that's our kryptonite. It's as simple as that. And I do think, and you the same. We can understand football's changed. Raya's a good goalie, but you have to be good with your feet. Striker's got to press. Odegaard's role. But I think we're in dangerous territory when we're talking about left wing. Or Eze. It's what you do going backwards. Odegaard the same. The striker the same. I believe in the squad. I don't necessarily believe fully in Mikel Arteta. I believe in your ability to get us competitive, to not get embarrassed in Europe, but getting over the line, which we need to do.
And I guess like I know I feel like Arteta's trying to recreate the wheel a little bit
Exactly.
because
You've already done that.
yeah, the top teams, like the teams that we're looking at is like these are the best teams, in the world. I think people would consider that like PSG, Barcelona, Liverpool. None of them, and I don't say we have to be carbon copies, but you don't really see them going into big games or games against bigger teams and changing their whole ethos or being more defensive
Cut
or
Barca away, or just how PSG have played, full
yeah,
stop.
or even like not choosing your best 11 to start off with. Because I'm sorry, but your best 11, your best, most talented players, whatever you want to call it, it probably includes Eze. It probably does not include Marino. So I just feel like you're trying to recreate the wheel and you're trying to win in a way that I think historically is not the way. I feel like the teams that actually are the best attacking sides that can also defend well are the teams that win. Right now, we're a team that's ultra defensive, that on occasion attack well, but for the most part are missing something. And I just don't feel like that's right now. We haven't lost the league or anything like that. Like, numbers wise, it's a long way to go. But there's probably only one team that truly looks like a title winning team right now, and that's not Arsenal. And you have to ask questions why that is. And I think it's because there's still questions around the attack post buying Madueke, Gyökeres, and Eze, and there shouldn't be questions now. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
I wish I knew why he was so reluctant. I'm sure he's got his reasons, but at the end of the day,
Definitely
Arteta,
has
it's
his
my job.
reasons.
Exactly, it's my job to just watch Arsenal. I don't know how you fix this attack, but I know that there's issues there. Like I knew that a striker signing for our club wasn't change anything like that. But before I get into Eze and Gyökeres and whatnot, what have you made of Zubamendi in particular? Because it's been a bit mixed. I back him all the way. I still would double
Yeah.
down on my comments. I think you're better than Partey. I think people need to calm down on 5 games, but yeah, what have you made of him? And then also, what have you made of him? But what have you made of his partnership with Rice so far?
I think I agree. I think it's been mixed. Like I wouldn't sit here and say that because I back the player that he's been infallible. I think that there's been some really bright moments and some not so bright moments. I think there's been some games where, you could see that the speed and physicality of the Premier League was something that he needed to get used to. But like Raya and Kai Havertz in particular played in this league and took like 6 months to really get their feet underneath them. So I kind of
True.
looked at Zubamendi. Who?
I said true.
Yeah, so, like, somebody that's coming from outside the league, I'm just thinking, I would probably give them more time to get used to things, but I also wanna see that he's not unusable, which he isn't. He's still a good player, whatever, and I think it's just gonna take time for anybody coming from a different league, playing with new people, whatever, to really get used to like what we're trying to do and most importantly, the league. But all in all, Zubamendi, I think he's not somebody that I'm particularly worried about. Um, I'm like, he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be good. He's shown really good moments, but he's gonna need time to adapt. But it's not so bad that we feel like, oh my gosh, we need to bring somebody else in. It's not like that. I feel like not for me anyway. So yeah. Oh, his
I think he
partnership
died
with
at Old
Rice.
Trafford.
Huh?
Pardon? What you say?
His partnership with Rice, I think, you know, probably needs some more time. I think the only time I felt like that partnership really worked was against Bilbao in preseason.
This
That
is
was the
what I'm
only
saying.
that it looked good. The other times I don't even know if I feel like it's so much Zubamendi. I feel like Rice has been, let's just say he hasn't been at his best.
He always
Um,
takes half a year to turn up. But that's
yeah.
my thing, Jess. What? Zubamendi costs 50 odd. Rice costs
Mhm.
105. And this isn't something new necessarily with Rice, but that's 150 plus million on 2 players. You throw in Odegaard, fair enough, is 30 million, but he's a good player. Whether he's on form or not, that's another 30. Eze, if he starts, that's another 50, 60. Gyökeres the same. Whatever Saka's worth. There's talented players, some that have been bought. If I'm saying this about the midfield and yourself, if we're saying this about the midfield and the final third, it can't just be on the players, surely. Like, there's something. In the same way, we're waffling about how good the defense is, and Mascara's done very well. What's going on, Arteta, man?
Well, I mean,
You're not doing what you need to do.
since the 22-23 season, there's been consistent conversations about whether or not the midfield is balanced and whether or not the attack is going. Like, I just don't see it as an individual quality or player issue. I don't, because outside of the back end of 23-24, there's always been an element of Arsenal don't create enough chances. The midfield doesn't, individuals are great, but do they work well together? What's the right group? That's been consistent since the 22-23 season when Xhaka left. Like, it's been consistent,
Right.
so
Still ain't replaced him, if I'm honest. And he's
yeah,
not a world class talent with the greatest of respect to Granite. Square
yeah,
pegs and round holes.
100%. So outside of little spurts of time, there's been questions. So I don't really, it feels like we're asking the same questions over and over again, but the players are changing. This is the third iteration of this title contending side. The 22-23 team, the 23-24 team, and now this team. They're all different midfields, different attackers, same questions. That's why it's like, well, we need injuries. It's probably just the fact that Mikel Arteta has something going with the midfield and the attack, and there's something missing. Um,
Facts.
you know, and until he fixes it, it'll be like this. I don't know if he stumbles upon solutions and he just rides that solution until it breaks and then he has to wait for another solution to come about, but he's never really been able to replicate the dynamics of 22-23 or the dynamics of the end of 23-24, which worries me because I'm like, if you created that, you should be able to figure out a way to replicate it. And we go through large periods of time without having those same dynamics or that same feeling or fluidity or whatever. So I don't know, but continuously blaming the players when the players have changed feels like we're just wanting to look away from the elephant in the room that I say it with chest, other people